I've been given this some thought. Capitalism, it's imploding on itself. Sounds scary, doesn't it? Now, I'm not talking about that submarine, no. I'm talking about capitalism. So what is capitalism? Well, I just looked on the IMF website to get a description of what capitalism is in simple terms, because I'll just waffle that otherwise. It's just free markets may not be perfect, but they're probably the best way to organise an economy. Debatable. But capitalism is often thought of as an economic system in which private actors own and control property, assets, in accordance with their own interests, and demand and supply freely set prices in markets in a way which can serve the best interests of society. That is terrible. The best interests of a very small percentage, maybe the 1% or the 5% of the population that is hoarding money, because they're the ones who are getting richer. Now, don't you remember that Jeff Bezos, with his Amazon, he managed to accrue overnight $11 billion added to his wealth. Overnight. $11 billion. Just think about that for a sec, what you could do with that. Well, this is just an extraction of money. That's what it is. That's all it is. Stick that over there. Out of my way. Always got to fall off there at my phone. Oh, no. I'll put it on the floor already. That's a good idea. And that's the only place it can fall then. So, yes. I think capitalism is starting to implode on itself. And it's probably part of the reason why we've got, well, inflation and other issues. You can't keep pushing money to the top and it doesn't re-enter the economy. It'll either just sit up there in assets those assets don't move. They just stay there as assets. They don't get resold. They don't enter back into the economy, because the people with that amount of money, they don't have to. They don't care. They just sit on it. They buy art and other stuff. They just sit on it. It'll accrue more money, sucking in more money. And quantitative easing is not the answer if we run out of money. No. All that will do is just push up inflation. And you know what Rishi Sunak is about inflation? Yeah. Apparently giving the nurses, people, not at the bottom necessarily, but working class people, what have you, a pay rise, a well-deserved pay rise, for which they've had a pay cut for a very long time, ever since the Tories got in, basically, under George Osborne, austerity. Now he's trying to say that giving them a pay rise will push up inflation, yet those at the top are hoarding the money. You can't have a capitalist system that works like that. It's got flow. It's got to go round and round and round and round. Properties have to be sold and moved on. The cycle continues. Assets. I just can't see how this is going to sustain itself much longer. Something seriously has to change. You've got people at the bottom who are doing the work, earning the money, paying the bills, paying corporations. Corporations, whether it be your energy or whether it be your internet provider, they're all corporations. Whether or not you're buying stuff from Amazon. The gig economy and all of that. All that money's filtering up. It's not necessarily filtering. Okay, you've got the drivers and stuff like that, the people who are doing the work at the bottom, but they're paying the taxes, they're buying stuff from the same people. And that cycle continues and continues, sucking the money out from those who need to spend the money to those at the top who are hoarding the money. Eventually there'll be no money left. Now, I know what some people will say, well, foreign investment. People will bring money into the country. They'll invest in the country. Other people's money. Fortunately, that's not so fluid as it once was. Basically, what was happening is the capitalist system in the United Kingdom was sucking money through foreign investment, in some cases into the hands of the little people, and that flowed back up to those at the top who are hoarding money yet again. Sitting on money. Like I say, whether it be property, assets and what have you, or just straight into the bank accounts in the Cayman Islands or somewhere like that. Somewhere where they can avoid the taxes. Just look at Jeff Bezos. He hasn't paid any taxes in the EU. He hasn't paid any taxes in the United States. Amazon keeps avoiding the paying of taxes. I'm not saying he doesn't pay taxes at all, he probably does. But he's not paying the correct tax, corporation taxes that is. No, they do everything they can to avoid it. So dividends get paid out to the shareholders and they, maintain the value of the shares and the companies are worth more. And rinse and repeat, the cycle continues. While all this is going on yet again, all the money at the top has been sucked out. And then we have tax rises, extorting more money. So it ends up in the exchequer's pocket. The fund which the government uses to spend for services that it hands out to bungs, to corporations. And the whole process, the whole thing cycles again. Rinse, repeat. That money's been sucked to the top yet again. To the scum on the top of that, cesspit, maybe. I was kind of saying that with the cesspit. No, with the clean water at the bottom, that's what we are. They're the scum at the top. That's what they are. This is what's happening in this capitalist society, and I don't think it can go on much longer. And that's why I say I think we're getting to a point where it's imploding on itself. Or it's going to implode on itself. I think it's inevitable. I can't see how it can continue. I really don't. And it's got worse since Brexit. It's got worse. Less foreign investment because we're no longer that, stepping stone. But you could argue the foreign investment, all it was doing, because money was flowing into the country, was just disguising the fact the money was still flowing to the top. Because when we were in the EU, we had a bit more money to spend. But look at us now. We're struggling. Food inflation. Everything's becoming more expensive anyway. Supply and demand. It's harder to supply, so the demand is not being met. The prices go up. Everything is just becoming more expensive. But the one thing that isn't going to become more expensive is house prices. In the lower price ranges. Well, anybody really, in fact. House prices are they're flatlined at the moment. They were at 15% growth and now they're flatlining. Well, they're going to go into negatives, they are. Hello, Riley. I've got my cat. Riley. Come on, boy. Who wants to see my cat? He might let me or he might claw me. There, boy. Oh, come on, boy. There we are. Oh, this is Riley. Yeah. This is Foxy. To say, we have got a cat, haven't we, boy? There you go, boy. There you are. He's not that keen and been picked up yet. Although I wake up and he's asleep on my head. So it's a bit bizarre. Yeah. He's a funny cat. Anyway, we found her actually. To change the subject now, you see. Done implosions. Well, we found him at the roundabout, just down the road, in Orador, Survey. And he was on the road with another cat. They were little kittens. Full of fleas. Riddled with fleas. So we knocked on the door to the house. And opposite the supermarket, Super U. And we asked the lady if we knew about her, in our broken French. And she says, no, take them. She goes, take them. Because they were the next door neighbours. The next door neighbours' cats. And we looked around there, they had cages. I'm not kidding you, they were like rabbit hutches full of cats. She said, bonjour, they eat the cats. Poor little O'Reilly could have been lunch. Oh dear. Anyway, on that note, if you want to support the channel, you can do it on Patreon or buy us coffee, and the link's down below. That was lovely, wasn't it? Lovely story for you. Anyway, we saved him, and he's been with us ever since. So, so you've got Patreon or buy us coffee. The link's down below, and it is very much appreciated, obviously is. And also we've got our memberships now. So I'm trying to work out what I'm going to be doing for the memberships. But, you can become a member if you like, and you can be one of the Wally crew. Yeah, one of our Wallies. Not to say that you're Wally, but it's just because my dog's called Wally, as in Wally. Anyway, it's time for me to go, because, the sun's going down, and there'll be no light in a minute. So there's no more videos tonight. No, I don't think so. The moon's out. Yeah. Oh, okay. Ta-ta. Anyway, what do you think of that? Do you think I nailed it or not? Or am I talking about my derriere? I might be. I'm not a capitalist. No, I suppose I am. I'm supposed to be all capitalists, really. But I'm not an economist, no. But it's kind of like, it's what it feels like to me. It feels like us at the bottom have been sucked dry. By those at the top. I could have just said that, couldn't I? Yeah. Ta-ta. Don't forget, leave in the comments down below. Please boot the old like button. Helps the channel, you know. Ta-ta.